Hi everyone, welcome to cynicism podcast, a space where we dive into life's complexity.
This is not just a conversation, it's an exploration of things that we feel but rarely say out loud. So
let's uncover, reflect, and connect. Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Yeah, we are back again.
Yeah. With another brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. First of all, I'm very happy and I'd like to commend us for consistency and to Majaribu. At least we're not taking another hiatus. Yeah, so thank you for showing up the way you do. Yes. And keeping me a bit.
We are both showing up. So
yeah. So this is awesome. So do you want to introduce today's topic?
Right. So today we're going to be speaking about, we're going to be doing one of the trends that are trending. Trends that are trending.
Yeah.
So that's trend that people are making about propaganda that we're not falling for. So also we want to do a similar thing about the propaganda we are not falling for.
Yeah.
For us. Ourselves.
Yes. Girls in their 20s figuring out life.
So do you want to go first?
Okay. Okay. The first propaganda I'm not falling for is that if it's meant to be, it will be. I feel like love, growth, it requires effort. Yeah, so sometimes if you want something to be, you have to actually do something about it, not sit back and relax and expect just everything to unfold magically. Ta-da!
Without having to sweat.
Yeah, to sweat for it.
Or even like show any form of maybe
initiative.
Or maybe even intentionality. That's quite a especially when it comes to relationships, not even when it comes to love. I believe even in maybe simple platonic friendships. Because I believe now you have to be more intentional. Now that people are doing so much and people are going through much. I believe you have to do something.
You have to be intentional.
Or even whatever. Because people love just throwing out the words. It's meant to be.
People throw that around quite often, like even like carelessly, if I might say.
I agree.
So intentional effort. That's what will make things happen for you. Not
We started so deep.
We started on a high.
Very high notes.
What about you, darling?
So for me, I would say it's the hustle culture. We are now everybody keeps on saying you have to keep on grinding, and then eventually you just have people who are very burnt out just for the sake of that hustle culture. For people to see that you're really working. Or rather just people like measuring like your worth based on your productivity. So I think I'm not falling for that, because eventually what happens is just a lot of burnout, or even you feel like you really don't want to continue because you don't have that energy. So it's advocating for, even as you work, there's also a bit of balance. If it's not balance, just a bit of harmonization. It's work and life. Just a bit of harmony.
I absolutely agree with that, because actually my next point was going to be that good mothers have to make sacrifices, like extremely to a point where they're like even self-sacrificing their own happiness. The things that they used to prioritize before they became parents. Because we're trying to raise a generation of children who understand balance, and also like people who go after their dreams. Because how can I tell you to go after your dream if I'm not exemplifying that in my own life, in how I do my things, in how I live my life, my career. So
that's amazing. I've never thought about that.
It's just the patriarchal system, which has to do with everything about how women would always have to be the ones who sacrifice or put their lives on hold. I understand that it's a divine calling, and a divine assignment that God has on, but that does not mean like self-neglect. Everything.
Especially for you as a woman. Just to be able as a good mother that, because I also think that even your children or maybe even your child is also like seeing whatever you're doing. Because I mean, if I look at some of us, we used to really look at our mothers and maybe see them sacrificing a lot, and then we took up that where now we became even people pleasers, always like prioritizing other people over ourselves, just because we saw that with our mothers and we thought, oh, okay, she's really selfless, and maybe that's how I should be. So I also want to raise kids who also know the limits
and boundaries.
And the boundaries. Okay, yes, you're sacrificing yourself, but to a certain point, not to where you're losing yourself.
Not the point of losing yourself. And I feel like what we just mentioned about like our children looking at us. Well, like me and my daughter looking up to me. I've noticed something like in this journey of parenthood. Like children rarely like listen when you tell them to do something, but they imitate, right? Yeah, and that's why it's also like very key to see the kind of people that you surround them with, the environment that you put them in, because they will imitate what they'll borrow from what they're getting here, especially in this early development stages. Okay, now we're digressing, but you get the point. Mothers are just girls too. Prioritize yourself too. You're no longer glorifying your overly stretching yourself out.
I think that's also related to a point that I had, where people we're no longer falling for glorifying struggle. To struggle so that you feel like you have achieved something. Success has to really come from struggle. No, it doesn't. And it's okay to have things easier, the easier way. So you don't have to feel guilty because things are coming your way, maybe in a way that is deemed easier. Because what do you mean easier? Did you come to this earth to suffer? People need to stop
struggle. I totally agree with that. First of all, there's no badge of honor for struggle. So please rest and just maybe because when the year started, I think I prayed and I kind of my theme for this year is ease. Like I'm trusting God to like just open doors for me, and I don't have to like I've struggled already so far to get here. Now from here, let it be a smooth ride.
So that one.
Oh wow. My next point would be propaganda that I'm not falling for. People saying it's not that deep. It is that deep. Stop trying to invalidate my feelings, Jamani.
I'm just saying it because I don't tell people that. Am I just console myself?
That it's not that deep. Imagine it's that deep. And first of all, like it's so wrong when you're saying it to yourself because you're trying to suppress your feelings. And imagine like if there's anyone that you should be honest with about your feelings, it's yourself. And if there's someone, you should allow yourself to feel things honestly. I know I do it too because I just as a way of like brushing things off. It's just a nice way to deflect, but it's that deep. If it's people need to have these conversations, you need to feel these feelings. So I feel like we should stop desensitizing issues.
That's a very good one. It's that deep. Actually, because we just love saying it's not that deep.
It's not that deep. How much someone offends you? Sorry for cutting you off. Go ahead.
Then we want to maybe you've said something to somebody and then they catch feelings and then the same thing as saying it's not even that deep. But it's actually that deep. How do you feel?
Especially when someone does something for you, like to you, like that's really offensive. Okay, fine. On surface level, it might look like it's not that deep, but deep down, it's So let's be more gentle with ourselves and even with others.
I love that one.
Okay.
So I think another one is that phrase like we all have the same 24 hours, but we actually don't have the same 24 hours. Okay, well maybe if we look at the clock, yes, we have the same 24 hours, but in real sense, there's a lot other than because us, especially people who tend to say that at home, we're talking out of a point of like privilege, because we don't all have the same privilege,
opportunities.
We don't have the same opportunities,
resources.
Resources. We are at different circumstances. So I think people tend to shame other people, and also maybe that because it's also related to the same phrase where people say that if you're poor, it's your decision, like the way, like it's you who has decided to be poor, but sometimes it's
really beyond your control. I agree. Because I mean we're facing different struggles, and we are all at different stages of our lives. So I feel like it's really unfair to compare someone else's journey with someone else. People should be allowed to move at their own pace, honestly. And if deep down you know that you're doing your best, I think that's all that matters.
I also think it's the high time people start acknowledging their privilege.
Propaganda I'm not falling for. You have to be loyal no matter what. Sometimes the line has to be drawn. Say for instance, you're in an abusive relationship, you don't have to stay with that to be loyal to that person, honestly. You can decide to end it. You don't have to die because you want to be loyal, to go out as a hero. Who's hero? Ride or die.
Because there's someone riding and then over you, but they are dying. And also that one can also apply, especially in the job,
in the workplace.
Because like we've been told, especially in the previous generation, that you have to be very loyal to the job. Because I think they usually see, like, especially Gen Z, like really coming from one workplace to another, then it's just hopping from one job to another. But imagine everybody is out there looking for what is
better
best
opportunities.
So I believe even your bosses are looking out for their own interests. So even you have the right to look for better. You really don't have to be loyal for what is not serving you.
True.
I agree. Or even loyal to people who are not loyal to you.
Wow. Okay.
Maybe for me, another propaganda that I'm not falling for is this. I would call it the aesthetics, doing things for aesthetics, especially now with social media. So maybe let's say if it's the trends that are coming up, or maybe like for example the routines. So coming, like everybody is now on a routine because they saw that one video by Ashton Paul waking up at 3 a.m. So everybody is now waking up at 3 a.m. Like dunking their face in ice cold water. Going to the gym and maybe even running, going to the gym 3 times. Imagine you don't have to.
It's not realistic. I know. That's just like one shoot they want this is about content.
It's fun. But everything together, and then you believe
it, but they do that every day.
Actually, because you saw your favorite influencer buying a walking pad, now you're interested to go and buy a walking pad. And then now you because you see them walking like in the morning and in the afternoon on your walking pad, you start to believe that you also have to 10K steps. And everybody is on that initial up and like competing on the steps that you do. You don't have to.
You don't have to.
Doing things because everybody on social media is doing. So I think that one I'm not falling for it.
If you're doing it for yourself, then good for you. But not. Anyway, I really like that because what most people don't realize is even on social media. Personally, I only post the highlights. So we don't post on you're getting dragged through the mud. But rarely do we do that. Maybe once in a while, someone feels compelled to share when you're going through a low season. But most of the time, we only share the highlights. And if you allow that to be the standard for your life, then you always feel like you're lagging behind in life. So you just your own journey.
That's true.
We keep I feel like we just keep on coming back to that point. Because of even how we talked about 24 hours. Like I feel like everyone should just allow themselves to experience their own journey at their own pace. No pressure.
Amazing.
the propaganda I'm not falling for is that women are too emotional to lead. Yeah, one of the greatest qualities of leadership is an empathetic person. Well, yeah, someone who is emotionally intelligent. Yeah, so I feel like it's beautiful that right now we have so many women figures that we admire who are already both being powerhouses. So yeah, but I feel like there's still that a little bit of stigma, even in workplaces or in organizations where you go and find that the women are in higher positions of power. There's a low-key, some kind of intimidation here and there. Yeah, but more power to women.
Yeah, and funny enough, we had just I had just come, I don't know if you call it an argument, maybe just a discussion. A man, of course, about the same. And then we were talking about just women, maybe people in general, and even the workplace, and then they had the audacity to say, and that's why you find most of the leaders are men, they're not women. And I was like, what do you mean? Because we are too emotional. No, you're using like something that is so natural to me against me. But yes, again, we also find just like the way you say the most the best leaders are even like the most empathetic people. Because they have empathy. Because this is our place. So you're able to able to deal with people and be able to understand them. So you coming to tell me that you can't be a leader because you're too emotional.
What do you mean?
We've seen like a lot of leaders. So that's we want to do all that.
Okay.
I think you've triggered me, and maybe the next point for me will be around that. So another propaganda that I'm not falling for is that nowadays women are too empowered or even over-empowered. What do you mean by over-empowered? I don't think they should be even like a term like over-empowerment. What do you
Come on. But I feel like that stems from like we were suppressed for such a long time. And now that we're almost balancing the scale, it's a threat.
Yeah.
But if you really look at it like realistically and logically speaking, men are still far way more privileged than us women.
That's true. Because I think patriarchy for so long, for so long, has tried to diminish women and also their value. So hearing like over-empowered, and the worst thing there's also women who agree with that, and you're going to find them on like a national platform, like a TV or radio, saying that they're there advocating for the boy child because they feel like now women are more like over-empowered and too empowered. So I was like, what do you mean? First of all, this was like the empowerment that is being given to the women right now was a reaction to something, and that something was women always being suppressed. So right now, if you want to come and try and shift the blame now to like over empowerment of women, and then we go back to
where we were before. What's the point of all the progress that we've made then? I totally agree. There's nothing like about empowerment. Wow.
In any case, the men just need to step up.
They need to step up. Because why are we not having a conversation about how men have relaxed, like the laxity that you're saying? They have. They're now playing victim. Oh, the culture has been too empowered. We cannot deal with the women of this generation. They're too arrogant. Pride.
You see even women looking out for themselves, like women forming like groups to come together, even if it's talking, just to come and talk to empower themselves. So I also think that men need to step up in the form of their groups and also like get out of the excuse that sijui like masculinity and emotion, we don't want to express our emotions. I think that's an excuse.
That's just an excuse. Honestly, I feel like that also like paves the way for my next point, because I feel like my next point was gonna be that men are not allowed to show emotions. Propaganda I'm not falling for. Because I feel like men are also allowed to be human beings and vulnerable. and express the emotions. And you see, like the moment, I think the disconnect happens when now women are just being naturally how God intended human beings to be, by being emotional, being vulnerable, expressing their feelings. And now men don't want to do that, and then now it's in a little that conflict. Yeah, I feel like if both genders just agree to communicate openly, especially, and now we also embrace and allow men, allow space for men to be emotional.
Yeah, because I think, and I think there was somebody who was discussing that, keep on saying that men are allowed to show their emotions, and then they come and counter that and say, but do you guys really want us to? Do you really want to see our emotions? Because I think for so long, okay, we're going to tell them, okay, it's okay to cry, but up to what extent? Are you going to be now crying every single day? It's murky waters, but
it's murky waters.
Men are allowed to also show their emotions. And I believe to a certain degree.
But no, unfortunately, when men do show their emotions, they do it as a tool of manipulation.
That's true.
Right?
Because
it's not because they're being vulnerable and they want to be heard. Okay, well,
in most cases.
In most cases, yeah. Okay, I'm so sorry. And the men who watch our channels, it only seems like we're bashing you guys. But imagine we are on your side too, but we're just saying things as they are, right? Because you see, like now, for instance, you're in a relationship with a man, and then he messes with you, and now you've had it and you want to like leave. Hiyo time ndio wanajua kulia wakisema how sorry they are.
That's
right. So no, even if they express the emotion, it always comes off as hypocrisy.
As
manipulation.
Which is too sad. You guys are allowed to show emotions. The
right way.
Not for manipulation purposes.
Okay.
But then again, I have a question. When a man comes and cries when you're together, are you going to feel like it's unattractive?
Unattractive?
Yeah, like is it going to be like unattractive to you because now they're crying?
No. Well, it depends on what. If it's honestly like, the only time it will be unattractive to me is only when it's used as a tool of manipulation. Like you've wronged me, and then I'm trying to have a conversation with you, and then now because you're trying to deflect, you start crying to show how sorry you are. That will be very unattractive to me. But if it's genuinely like something we are going through, and then you cry, that's actually like very sexy.
I love that. All right, enough of men.
Enough men. Decenter men.
First of all, even that phrase about decenter men, it's just about men.
It's just about men.
That's also another propaganda because it's also about. It's also so centered about centered on men. So for me, I would say the next propaganda that I'm not falling for. It's just the main energy, whether it's the main girl energy, whether it's the main boy energy, where everybody with the main grandma energy, just because why are you being mean for no reason, and you think it's cool? Please, are we in high school?
Yes. Oh my God.
That's a thing that I'm not falling for, and you find, especially now, you're always going to find people like formally cliques, and then I don't know. For me, I feel like.
It's too childish.
It's too childish.
Honestly, for me, it's just when I think about it, I just think about Utoto. Because why are you doing that nonsense? Like how we used to do it in primary school. So there's this kind of elite group of people, and then there's the nobody's. Come on, adults now. And everyone is in charge of their own lives and destinies. So if you want to be mean, go and what do you call it? Reflect those. What do you call it? When you project that negative energy over there.
You and your group as well. They can follow you. You don't need to be mean. Like trying to be mean to look cool. No, you're not. It's very
Yeah, it's very attractive.
I think we also need to add those people who keep on saying, that's the way I am. To that
Oh my
because
God.
please don't come to me with that nonsense.
I think that's the way I am. I think it's like the people say, maybe I don't celebrate bad things.
And then they come and just,
okay, you do you.
yeah.
Maybe I'll do that. Yeah, true.
Yeah, because okay, we can say we're not going to celebrate you, but for the people in your life who actually love to be celebrated.
Yeah.
Because it's not about
I'm only talking about. I've only mentioned it. It's because when you some of the people say that's the way I am. It's people who are just trying to evade accountability and responsibility and taking responsibility for their actions. So now they're also people, like for instance, when you're dating and you express that you want to be celebrated, and then they're like, me, I don't celebrate birthdays, I don't celebrate Valentine's, do you need me? So what am I supposed to do? Stay here and live a boring life.
Yeah, just because you don't, you don't.
I'm out. This is how I am. When someone like constantly keeps on doing something that they know hurts you, and then now they don't want to even apologize for it or even do better.
Yeah,
that is so wrong.
That's true. Yeah, just the way you say that people trying to evade responsibility. People who do not want to work on themselves. And their bad habits and traits.
Yeah, I feel like that is so wow.
Very cool. Very much.
But yes, so reductive. That so if you come on in a pit of mud once, it's like deciding to live with that field all of your life, and then when people tell you to shower, you're like, no, this is how I am. And you're okay with it. Come on.
We're about to get angry. Even hyperventilating.
We're so worked up. Okay, fine. On a lighter note.
I deep breath.
Deep breath.
1, 2,
3, hold. Then. Okay. On the lighter note, I feel like a propaganda that I'm not falling for is this thing about people wanting to be mysterious and thinking that being having that mystic is attractive. And so even when you go probably as friends and when you go hang out, if come and meet me, I'm chatty and lively, and now I'm pretending to be quiet.
So that people can
just to fit in a day. Oh my God! Do you know the people who love you and stay in your life the longest time are people who love you for who you are?
Yeah.
Please don't pretend to be someone else. Stop pretending to be mysterious, because eventually you can only put on a show for a short time, for a very short time. And then people see who you are, and then now it becomes even more you.
You keep on repaying people
because if you're going to trick me into falling in love with a version of yourself that's not who you are, then if you stop being that person, I'll not love you anymore.
That's true.
So please, just be yourself.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, and that's so true because now that I look back, I can even see such characters right now in my life.
Yeah.
And I think it's so unattractive now that even I look at it. Yeah, you just need to pretend to sit there and pretend, oh, I'm so, and then you feel like you're better than everyone
else.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm also not falling for people who think that they're better than everyone because you're not.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so another propaganda that I'm not falling for is that self-care means buying new things. Always doing self-care means doing skincare, buying things to do skincare.
Basically breaking the bank.
Breaking the bank. So you have to buy things just to feel like you're doing self-care. When in actual sense, that is just more consumerism. And especially now in the age of social media, influencers, there's a lot of over consumerism and consumerism in general. People are just buying and buying because you've seen your favorite influencer buying new things and yet you forgot that for them that's their job. They're being paid to do those things. To push them. So self-care can be just as much much as going to take rest, just going to bed
Going
and
for a
sleeping,
walk.
going for a walk.
Having your favorite cup of tea,
Thank you.
reading your favorite book.
Thank
Yes, it's
Taking
the
a
simple
nap.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just literally the most mundane things that make you feel
Yeah.
like you're giving back to yourself.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah.
Can be just going home, soaking your feet in warm water, clipping your nails. As simple as that.
Yeah.
You don't need to go buy 100 in one
Exactly.
skincare.
Yeah. And they probably don't even work for your skin. Honey, relax.
Ouch.
Yeah. Just do the things that you feel that honor your body and
Yeah.
your spirit. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I feel like my next and final point, because we have to end this, but I feel like this is such a nice
We
topic. We
could
could
do
keep
a part
on
two.
going and going. Yeah, we could do a part two.
Yeah.
Wow. So the propaganda I'm not falling for is about how you tend to be humble. Like, yes, humility is a virtue, I agree, but not in the sense that you're shrinking yourself to make other people comfortable. Please celebrate your wins. Talk loudly and boldly about your capabilities and your skills. When you walk into a room, market yourself.
Yeah. Shamelessly.
Shamelessly, without shame or even feeling like you're bragging. Yeah, just be proud of who you are and be boldly and loudly. That's not lacking humility.
Yeah.
As long as you're not doing it maliciously to make other people feel small, you can be proud of your achievements without any shame.
Yeah,
Right?
because
Yeah.
and I love that so much. I think that's even the best way to end this.
Yeah.
That's the best point for ending
Yeah.
this, because I feel like that word has
Yeah.
been used so much too. Like try and show people down and even their ability, their skills. Yeah, please go like shine with your skills.
Yeah.
As long as you're not doing to try and make people feel like you're better than
But
you should show people like you're better than them.
Hey,
Yeah, please go market yourself shamelessly, plug yourself.
Hey, yeah.
That's a really nice point.
I feel like we've had a really nice episode. Yeah, so thank you guys for watching. Continue to subscribe, give us your comments, constructive criticism. We really enjoy doing this, and I feel like now we're getting into the flow of it. And we really, really appreciate you guys for being here. Yeah.
So we'll see you in the next one.
See you next time. Bye. Bye. Bye.
See ya.
他只要一听见动静，他